Okay. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Furbaby Summit. We are here on Saturday and Catterday, and we're coming up with our next speaker, Sterling Davis, who is known as the Trap King. So I have been excited and waiting for this one all day. So Sterling, I am actually going to turn this over to you for a minute to get started. Thank you for being here, though. Thank you. And I had to add too, he's been here all day with us, just hanging out, listening to the other speakers and being supportive and being funny. So thank you. You get big hugs.
Thank you. Love y'all. It's been some good speakers too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So tell us about you.
So me, Sterling Trap King Davis. I started my nonprofit about 2017. And actually, let me back up because I started with music. Like I've done music and entertainment my whole life. I was actually on a music tour looking for something to do. And I just saw an ad on Craigslist that was like, hey, you want to help out with some cats? And at the time I had a cat named Rick James. So I was like, that's cool. I like cats. That'd be something easy to do before I go back on tour. But when I came out and did it, everybody was like, they were like, wow, we want you to stay longer than just temporarily because we're not used to seeing, no disrespect, people like you, like Black men that love cats like that. Like I didn't even want to go to the dog area. They was like, you sure you want to be here with the cats? I'm like, positive. I don't want to be with the dogs. So, so they wanted me to stay. And I still was like, nah, I'm not staying. Cause I was about to go on tour with a rapper named Tech9, who is really popular. That was a big deal for me. So I was like, nope. But when I saw like being there for the couple months that I was there and I saw all I saw the gap between the Black community and the animal rescue community. Like I would see, guys come in like me and they just holding the cat in the air, like, hey, I got this cat. And I was like, whoa, get him in a box. Like, what are you doing? It was so much stuff. I saw the education that was needed. I saw the gap between, like I said, the animal rescue community and the Black community. And a lot of it around that time, the Michael Vick situation didn't help it. So, it was like an epiphany. I literally called my friends up on tour. I was like, this is going to sound crazy, but I'm not coming back on tour. I'm going to go ahead and sit out here and rescue some cats. And they was like, yeah, Sterling crazy. He done lost his mind out here. Some of my friends was trying to do an intervention.
Like, I love these cats. Come on.
Right. It was like, you gonna go broke. Like, it's no money in that. Like, what are you doing? So it was for me, it was like I said, it was an epiphany. And I felt like that was a void. It's crazy because I've been in entertainment and on stage and in the military. So it seemed like all of that was preparing me to do this, even though I would have never thought that before in a million years. You couldn't have told me back in the day I wasn't going to be either Allen Iverson or Jay-Z. You couldn't have told me I wasn't going to be one of those guys. Like I wasn't going to play ball or rap. So, but here I am and I love it. I wouldn't have it no other way.
I think that's awesome. And I'm glad that you're here. What did you start doing at that point when you started rescuing?
So at first my first deal, and let me see, I got some pictures in here for y'all if I could share. Give me a second.
Yes, please.
Let me see if I could do this right. If I can do it. There we go. Let me see. Yeah. So
yeah.
So let me see. Am I doing it? I don't know if I could control it or not. It's not letting me go up or down. Do I go left or right? Pause.
Try left or right or the space bar.
Oh, space bar maybe? No, not space bar. Left or right? No left. Up or down? Oh man. I don't know if I could show my pictures. It says remote control. Let me see. Give mouse keyboard control to, oh no, share clipboard. I don't know. Well, we good. I mean, y'all probably, everybody, if you follow me, they probably tired of seeing crazy pictures with me and my kitties. I post enough of them.
Do you want us to pull up your Instagram?
No, it's cool. We could just chat because it's not allowing me to. I see that up, but it's not allowing me to go down or anything, or go to another slide. Let me see one more thing. Pause. No, I see remote control. What if I give one of you all could? Well, nah. Auto accept share clipboard. Oh, that's cool. Sorry, I wanted to share, but when I started, and I started at a facility. It was the county shelter in Atlanta, and like I was just scooping litter. I started just scooping litter, helping out with the cats. And quickly they promoted me because they wanted me to stay. Like I said, at first I was like, I'm not staying. Like it makes no sense financially for me to switch my life like that. But they, so at first, the first thing I got promoted to was community cat coordinator. And I remember the CEO came to me and she was like, hey, Sterling, you know what TNR is? And I was like, I hope it's not a new drug because I'm really trying to leave drugs alone. Rebecca, like, don't do that to me. She was like, no, you silly. It's it's Trap Neuter Return. You'll be good at it. I'm gonna send you through training. And I was wondering then, like, why would you send me through training? And I told you I don't know what it is. Why do you think I'm gonna be good at it if I have no idea what it is? And she was like, you'll learn later that this is like it's like social work. Like a lot of it will be more social work than you can think, and you're good with people. So I was like, well, thanks. So that's how I got started doing, just going out, working with ladies, trapping. And I remember the first time I trapped a cat, it was crazy. I was like, dang, this is like, it's fun actually. Like, it's like a sport, like figuring out different ways to do it. So I fell in love with that. And after a couple weeks, I'm out here trapping with these ladies. And I finally was like, okay, where's all the Black people? Where's all the guys? And they was like, you're it. And that's it. And I was like, for real? So that right there, that was like, okay, I really need to, I feel like I could fill this void because I can use a lot of what I do in music to promote TNR that way. People reinvent themselves and they do different things for an album. And I could see a lot of times in rescue, which isn't bad, it's no knock to anybody, but a lot of times we pull the heartstrings. We pull the heartstrings to get people engaged, to get things done. My approach was like, I want this to look like Rockstar. I want it to look like if you a trapper, then if you out here trapping, then you a trap queen or you a trap king. And this is Rockstar, like you a hero, and you should feel it like that, because the compassion, fatigue, and burnout, I think it was coming from the heartstrings. We constantly pulling heartstrings. It's just a hard, selfless, tough job. And I wanted to make it something like that was really fun. Like, let people know how fun it was, how much you're helping, and something that more people want to do. And eventually I'm hoping to make this a respected career.
Mm-hmm. I think that is a phenomenal way to approach it. And I have to tell you, and all the years that I've been around, and mostly, and so you're right on two fronts. Mostly it is women. We don't have a lot of men. And so that's something we're like, please, can we recruit more men? Please, please, please. So thank you again for being here to do that. But it's mostly been the ladies that have done it. And it's kind of like, we go out at night, figure out different ways to get a hold of them. Right, but it's not, we're like rummaging around in the woods or out behind businesses, or, it's just, if people come up, are you trying to break in? No, we're just trying to trap this cat. So it's like, why are you in the dark? Well, and right. Food. I mean, it just is. So this approach to it is completely different. I've never seen somebody who come out as like, I'm going to make this cool. And that's why I was like, that's awesome.
I think a lot of it too has to do with the hyper masculinity. And like when I first started at the shelter I was working with, who trained me, Lifeline, when I first started with them, that they was asking me, you don't want to mess with the dogs? You don't want to go back in the back with the dogs? And I'm like, no. But it's so I've even went to schools and had little young boys tell me that they thought that all dogs were male, all cats were female. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. Like, that's not it. It's not it. So I think a lot of the that's why I do stuff like paint my nails. Yeah. and I want to show guys that, hey, you could rescue cats, you can volunteer and it still be cool. Your masculinity isn't going to drop off. It's okay. You'll be fine if you love on some cats and pet some kitties.
Exactly.
and trap and do some TNR. Get your butt out there and help some of these trap queens.
You were on earlier when Sandy was on. You were like, you are a trap queen. And I was like, oh, yes, that's awesome.
I always want to let people like Sandy know that, I mean, that's who made me. It was nothing but amazing women that trained me. We'd go out and trap all night, every night, be up in the morning, getting our nails done, talking about trapping, and then trapping again at night, like just going. So it's women like Sandy that made it happen. Like that's who made me possible. So big shout out to all the trap queens.
Well, and I know we have a comment, but I was going to piggyback off of that one too. You've made an amazing career about sharing TNR and embracing your marketing skills and building the Trap King brand. So number one, you have an awesome logo. Thank you. But number two, I mean, you're like he said, your marketing for this is it's really, really cool. It's really different. And you're very, very welcome. And you hit on that whole aspect of compassion fatigue and burnout. To add into that, a lot of what we see on Facebook, a lot of what I see on ours, like I've got a bunch of friends who are like, hey, I want to get involved and do some things in this, but gosh, it's so depressing. It's so sad. It's always sad. Right. I'm like, well, no, but that's, we just see a lot of the really hard cases where they're trying to raise a lot of money and they're trying to get them, fixed, or their abuse cases or whatever. And I said, yeah, a lot of it is sad. A lot of it is hard, but then you have to go back and you have to see the ones where it worked and they're saved and they're adopted and they're better. So this is even more so out there. Like, this is cool. This is a good thing to do.
I wanted to look fun and cool like that. I'm glad.
So can I ask, when they were training you to do it, how did that go? What was that like? When you were first getting started to do it?
I loved it. I fell in love with it quick, instantly. I started thinking of different ways, creative ways, like all rescuers do, start thinking of different ways, different tactics, different skills. But I think what locked me in completely was like going out. I was returning some cats, and I was returning some cats to a predominantly Black neighborhood. And I saw when I was taking the cats out, I saw like 4 guys walking behind me. And I turned around and they're getting closer. I turn around, they're even closer. And I'm like, okay, let me put the cats down and address whatever this is. And they came to me and they told me, hey, man, white people put tracking devices and diseases in these cats and dump them in black and brown communities to hurt us. And when I heard that, I was like, yo, that's so far from wrong. That moment locked me in, because it was like, I have to correct this. It's that's so far-fetched. I even sat and talked with them dudes. I was like, hey, why wouldn't they put it in something that we like more? If we supposed to like dogs more, why wouldn't it be in the dogs? Why would it be in the cats? Like, think about that. And eventually I got those guys to understand, and that locked me in. That moment really locked me in, because I was like, that gap is just too huge. That thought was so wrong and so off, and I couldn't believe that they were thinking that's what was happening. So, but that's the lack of education and awareness in TNR and cat rescue. So that locked me in. I really wanted to change that.
That is wild. That he said you're really building a movement through education. Yes. So you're doing a great job with that. How did you spread that to get that notion or get that idea changed to where do they go and help you now, or are they more like, hey, bring it back in the community and we want to adopt? Or
different tactics? I got I use and I would have never done this before, do cat raps because for one, it's at first it seemed like a mockery of my music that I did before to do rap about cats. So it took me a while to do that. And then I'm good friends with Mosho. I am Mosho. I don't know if y'all know him or not, but he's a cat rapper. So I didn't want to step on his toes, but it helped me with my mission as far as delivering it to certain people, to make it appeal to certain people. So it was stuff like that. Gadgets. The remote control drop trap, you'd be surprised. With men love gadgets. We love gadgets. So you'd be surprised how that remote control drop trap is a turn on for catching cats. And it's like dudes would be like, oh, I could catch it like that. So now it becomes like a video game. Bam, I'm out here trapping that. And I remember one of my friends asked me one day, like, so man, it's nothing but women that do that? Like, you be out with women, with them ladies all night? And I'm like, is that what it's gonna take to get you to come out? Yep, I'll be out with these ladies all night. Yep. Forget the fact that half of them are lesbian and won't like you, but yep, come on out. Come on out. That's what it's gonna take to get you engaged. Come on out.
Come on out. I love that. So, did they come?
Oh yeah.
Good.
Okay. I mean, all it takes a lot of time is to get people into it. And like I said, a lot of times I saw in the communities that I go in a lot, there was a lack of trust. It was just a lack of trust. Like, I'm a Black person. I can't do that. I'm not supposed to do that. That's untrue. That's crazy. Like, it's for everybody to do. It's for everybody to do. If it's in your community, it's helping your community. That lady up the street with all the cats, she's not a crazy cat lady. She's a trap queen. I really want to work, even though my girls, Jay and Adrian, called the two crazy cat ladies. Those are friends of mine, but I want to debunk that it's not crazy. Cat ladies aren't crazy. They're strong, compassionate trap queens. We should not be calling them crazy. So we gotta end that. No disrespect to Jay and Adrian and my girls, because their names are the two crazy cat ladies. But I want to end that. It's not a crazy thing. We're not crazy. It takes a compassionate, selfless person to be out there, trying to clean up the neighborhood and help these colonies like that. It's a lot of people doing it out their own pockets.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much for doing that, because there's some folks out there they'll say, oh, you're a crazy cat lady, and it's with a bit of affection, but most of the time it's a negative connotation. You're like, okay, right. I help out with rescue, and I'll do transports, and we'll work in rescue, we'll do this. Well, do you have a house full of cats? So I've also got a house full of dogs. I might have some fish too. Right. I mean, but it got to be such a negative kind of thing, or something that people make fun of you for. So thank you for trying to reverse that, and thank you for not thinking that.
I've always been my own dude. So when people was talking and trying to make fun of me early on, I was like, whatever. I do my thing.
So how did you get started in doing, because you speak a lot on TNR, how did you get started doing that?
Well, I worked for the county shelter that I was in Atlanta for about 5 years. Mm-hmm. And then in 2017, I decided to go on my own and start Trap King. And so I was speaking came kind of easy, because again, I'm used to being on stage doing music. And like I said, it's crazy because it seemed like in the grand scheme of things, I did that to do this. Like, I only learned that to deliver this message this way. So I just started doing it a lot. Like, I would go places and speak, and it was, people was responding to me more and differently. So I just got into it more. And then I did the outrageous move of when I started my nonprofit, because I could not afford rent and surgeries at the same time. So I bought a conversion van, and I lived out of that conversion van, just traveling around the country, driving. I put so many miles on that van. but I had cats all over it, the logo all over it. And I just kept riding around doing it until somebody, I think Atlanta Humane, finally saw me sleeping in the parking lot, and they were like, hey, why are you sleeping in the parking lot? I actually live in this van. And they was like, listen, we'll we'll help you with some surgeries if you help us with some social media stuff. Cause my following started to grow. So, and I learned to barter like that. I learned to every vet that I talked to, it's like, listen, I got a bunch of followers. I'll trade you social media stuff if you give me some free surgeries. You ain't got to pay me nothing. I just want free surgeries. If you do me a certain amount of surgeries a week, I'll shout you out on social media. We can do this, but I need those surgeries to be free. So that helped me move up to an RV and not just in the conversion van. So now I got the Trap RV, just big blue and purple RV with cats all over it, with this cheese on it.
Oh, hello, beautiful.
That's Alanis Musette.
Oh, she is gorgeous. Oh my goodness. Can we just like take her? Yeah.
Alanis, say hey, mama.
Hi, baby. Hi.
She like,
girl.
she probably got zoomies to tend to. Yep, she got zoomies to
It's like,
tend
I'm off to do cat things. I'm off to do
Right.
cat things. So that's awesome. So you have, yes, she is so pretty. You have had quite a journey doing this. I mean, and it's I think it's just incredible. I mean, to have that calling and have that inspiration and start going through the communities one by one and then driving all the way around the country. We've traveled a lot around the country. And I mean, that's a lot of dedication. That is a lot of dedication.
But again, it's crazy because again, it was being on tour.
Yeah.
I think prepared, like being in the military, living out of my sea bag, and then being on music tours. I feel like it prepared me to do that. Like when I was living out of that conversion van, and now I still live in my RV, people was like, man, that's sad. And I'm like, no, it's actually not sad. I like this. I've been living like this for a while. I lived out my sea bag. It's an upgrade from the van. So I'm not suffering. It's not bad. Like I'm happy. Yeah. I'm not a man of money or things. So I don't really, I don't have to have a big house or nothing like that. This is gonna mean something. This is it.
Yeah. When did you start Whisker Media?
Well, Whisker Media is actually Mary Tan, my manager. I can't even call her just my manager. I have to call her a momager because Mary Tan she runs Whisker Media, and that's who really a lot of the speaking engagements and things that I do come from Mary. I mean, really, she's my brains, because I would just run around and be chasing tail all day. She put structure into my life. So Mary Tan is Whisker Media, and she was, wanted to get into working with different cat brands and cat rescuers. So she really got me in line and made sense of it. Because I promise you, all I knew is that I love cats. I was trapping them. Even the logo, when I made it, I was like, how can I make like a hood version of Hello Kitty or something? Like that was the thought process behind it. But after that, I had no structure. All of that is Mary Tan. That's my momager. But yeah, she's been around probably a little longer than when I got started, but she really knew what she was doing. She used to work for the news, so she was able to plug me in with a lot of speaking engagements. And I just been doing it all the way up until now. Like now I go places and I could pull up in the RV, jump on top of it, do a rap, and then get out and trap. Everybody go get out and trap. The kids is the way to do it. The having all of the cats and all of the pretty stuff on the RV and all the colors is the kids. Anybody out there want to get grown-ups and people into it, get the kids. The kids will get the parents. Trust me with that. I come through like the ice cream truck. And so the kids are like, hey, there's Trap King. And then they're going to go tell their parents, Mom, you got a TNR. Trap King said, trap like you got a TNR. So now the parents have to get into it. The kids pull them in every time.
I think that's brilliant. And it's so funny on the other end of it. It's like, I never would have thought about that. Oh, seriously.
I've even done, I'll do contests. Yeah. One of the things that's really been helpful is, and you can't do it a lot because it costs money, but I would have kids in the neighborhood, teenagers and kids, watch the traps for me. So I'll be like, the first person that sends me a text with letting me know that a trap is filled, you get $30. The second person, $20. The third person, $15, and so on like that. So they get prizes, they get incentives. You do that one time, because we ain't got a lot of money like that, but you do that one time, probably do it twice. And after that, that second or third time when you go back, the kids they get money. You know, the kids was running, chasing it like, hey, you want us to get some cats? You want to get some cats? And I'm like, nah, I don't have the money to do that no more. And it's like, dang, but somebody always stay around and be like, well, I still want to do it. Even though you don't have the money, can I still help you? That's my cat I got you now. You're gonna be a future trap queen or a trap king now. I got you.
So do you have like have y'all started a program for like youth volunteers or something to start bringing them together, or whether it's on social or
one of the main things I'm working on, and the pandemic slowed this down just like it slowed down everything. It ain't gonna stop us though.
No.
But I want to start a fraternity and a sorority based on TNR and cat rescue. So like when people go to college, even when they graduate, they still donate and volunteer to their fraternity or sorority. So I want to use that as a platform and have a trap king, trap queen fraternity, sorority, especially because when I was young, I was bad and I was in gangs, but a lot of times you don't have nothing to do. You want to be a part of something. I want to create that fraternity and sorority to get younger folks into it, to have something to do. You picture like the faux leather, because I'm vegan, not real leather, but the fake leather jackets with patches on them. That's you got a different patch for each life saved, like for each life that you save. So it's a different patch. And you think if a woman come in and she got this certain patch, it's like a military general. You almost got to salute her. So it makes it fun. It makes it interesting. It puts a different spin on it. And if you join the fraternity sorority, what I want to do with that is I'm working with a group named CARE, a nonprofit called CARE, Companions and Animals for Reform and Equity. And with them, we're trying to put, small in every city, put a small trap king or trap queen center where people can go in, grab traps, grab some mackerel, grab some bait, trap the cats, bring them back, and I'll make it free, regardless of what the government do. I'll make it free.
Yeah,
you're a part of this fraternity or sorority, then there you go.
That is awesome. I think that's a fantastic idea. How can we help you with that?
I mean, I think the most help right now, I would say, look at CARE, Companions and because I'm doing so much with them, and I really want to get these locations. I want to get these locations up, and CARE, they're working towards that, as well as a lot of helping me with bringing about more diversity to animal welfare. We got to do that too. It's a must. The most progressive communities are diverse communities. So it's no different with cat rescue. So I want to make sure that we get, like I said, it has to be, if I do my job, I don't do my job if it's not more of me. If I stay rare, then I didn't do my job. It has to be more of me.
We need more of you. Yeah. We really do.
It's going to be some young dudes running circles around me in a minute.
That's okay.
Yeah. There go, Carrot. Okay. I like that. That's dope. Yeah.
There we go.
That's my peeps right there.
Oh.
I talked about this slide right here in a few about equity. As you can see, equity and equality. So like in this picture, you see the lion and the cat. Equality would be everybody having a crown, like both of these, the lion and the cat got a crown, but equity is more like everybody having a crown to fit. So this little guy, this little kitty over here would have a crown to fit. So I'm glad you pulled that slide up. Thank you for that. Oh, that's my buddy. These are some pictures from the CARE website. This is a buddy of mine, DDM, and he did a song called "That's My Dog." He's a rapper too. Yeah, if y'all get a chance, please go to the CARE website and check that video out. It is something else.
We will. We totally will. We'll put that in the group for everybody to see too.
Thank you. Yeah, please check that out. Is that? Oh yeah, that's the what you call it. Yeah, thank you. I see the care thing. Yeah, that's the website. And we doing, like I say, we're doing a lot of work for, like I said, to promote and bring about more diversity to cat rescue, community cat care, and animal welfare as a whole. Just animal welfare as a whole, get more people engaged. And again, bridge that gap. I believe that things that bring people together is like comedy, music, and animals. Those are things that we can agree on. And I'm, not just helping the animals. I hope it can help bring people together.
Mm-hmm. I think you're spot on with those. He asks, or put in the chat line, how often are you speaking on TNR?
Oh,
every day?
Yeah, I've
Do
never
you sleep?
not. I don't even. What is that? Sleep? What is this
I know.
language you speak of?
I have a clone. That one sleeps.
I'm actually trying to. I'm doing better with sleeping, and because I speak a lot about compassion, fatigue, and burnout, and that's one of the things that I'm trying to do is try to get self-care, because everybody that's out there is so many people that's been doing this longer than me, doing it more than me. And you gotta take some time to do some self-care and pat yourself on the back. You can't burn out because we need you. So I've been trying to do things like get some more sleep and, just self-care a little bit. I got a podcast that's like a lot about self-care. I don't know if anybody knows Smush the cat. She's like a celebrity cat on Instagram. She got her own account, Smush. She's amazing. But her mother and I have a podcast called Same Team. And the whole thing of it is unity, self-care, and animal welfare.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a big deal to me.
We will have to pull that up. I'm so glad that you're doing that, because when you were talking about compassion fatigue earlier this morning with Cindy, that's a big thing, because they've been at it for so long, and just the hundreds of cases and the number of cases that they've seen. I think it was rough before the pandemic. I think the pandemic definitely had a massive effect on a lot of things and a lot of mental health.
Yeah.
And we had, so there's that with the compassion fatigue. And then I've noticed so much in people who have lost their pets and their fur babies in the last 2 years, their grief has just, it's just different. Or maybe it's that more people are talking about it. But we literally, in our greater groups, back to back in December and in January, we lost one in December and we lost one in January. And you know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
And it's just devastating, because you read about it in the threads, and it's like, I wish I understand why a lot of times they feel isolated and they don't say anything, but I wish to God they could have, and that they would have. And it's just, it doesn't, it's like you going out and trying to change the connotations about, oh, you say crazy cat lady. No, because when you say that, they're going to, when something goes wrong or they feel really isolated, they batten down the hatches. They don't talk to anybody. And, you just withdraw. And that's our thing. If we're afraid we're going to be made fun of or picked on, we just kind of withdraw, and it just doesn't end well. So that's something, people in the vet field have talked about that compassion fatigue, and in the vet techs, and that's intense.
That's
so
the reason we
huge.
Yeah, that one of the things we do on the Same Team podcast is named after the cat Smush. It's called Smush the Beef. And that whole segment is for rescues or rescuers to smush the beef, get rid of it, talk about it, get it out and end it so we can move on. Because so many times burnout and compassion fatigue, it's not coming from the lack of resources to save every cat like we want to. It's coming from what we say or don't say to one another, or what we do or don't do to one another in rescue. We can be real judgmental and hard on each other. So if we want to engage people and bring more people in, we have to be good to each other here. We have to look appealing so people will want to come. If we just all over here beating each other up, everybody gonna look in and be like, I'm not.
They're crazy.
They crazy over there. I'm not doing that.
No.
There's that word, and we're getting rid of that
Yes.
word. So no, I don't. We got it. So that Smush the Beef is one main thing of that, because again, like I say, the compassion, fatigue, and burnout in animal welfare a lot of time come from us. Granted, but because you go in expecting to see the sad cat cases. You go in expecting to help and see that. So I don't think that burns us out as much as how hard we critique one another or how hard other people can critique us. It's stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. We actually, we literally have different rescue groups. And I know you were on for a bunch of that today. One of the groups that we had on yesterday was Sharon. Sharon made out of Gloucester in Virginia, is Sharon's Critters Action Team. She made the comment, she said, one of the things that we don't engage in is all the infighting and the ego, and I've let's just drop the ego at the door, because there's so many that get into a competition, or they want to be a diva about it, or oh, I did this. And it's about the cats and the dogs. It's not about us, but whatever they're carrying around, it's let's help with that and work on that so that, we get more done with our groups and with our, yes, thank you. There is that too. But everybody on Facebook is a keyboard warrior.
Right. Bam.
Goodness.
Twitter fingers.
I am so glad we hit this subject. Thank you. Because yes, it is intense. And somebody will come on and ask a question and they just get lambasted. I mean, it's just crazy. I'm like, can we stop being horrible to each other? Come on. Right. So yes, thank you. And that's one thing that they are keen on, is they don't get into the drama. They don't get into the infighting. I've seen it labeled all those things, drama, infighting, divas. They don't get into that. They just get into, I want to educate. If you listen, you listen. If you don't, okay, I tried. And you're doing that and flipping it on its head entirely.
Yeah, so, I want to change it.
You've got an amazing strategy. I just, my hat's off to you. I love it. I really do. I'm
trying.
I did before, but I do.
Crowns. I'm actually trying to get crowns made. I want to, when I go to these cities, I want to crown trap queen, crown trap kings. I want to give them crowns because, like you said, drop the ego. The best thing I did was when somebody told me, you call yourself the king. I've been trapping way more cats than you. And my response was, yep. Yeah. You have. Okay. That's dope. It's not a competition. That's awesome. And I wanted to feel like that. A lot of times we do the ego, the competition thing. Like, it's not about that. It is. And that's, again, same team pie. We are all on the same team, whether you trap or rescue one animal or 5,000, 5 million, whatever it is. If you in it, you doing that selfless act, is just as valuable. That's what earlier, who was we talking? Somebody was on talking about the bottle baby fosters. Oh my goodness.
Cindy was. Ooh. Cindy was. And you totally knew. And I thought, oh, thank you. Yep. Because it's like having 6 babies. Here you go. Here you go.
It's every 2 hours I was up KMR every 2 hours. My cat Rick James is looking at me like, if you don't put them kittens down, I'm gonna knock you out. And I'm like, man, this is, and I don't have any two-legged children. So that was tough for me. I was like, wow. I see how I never had any children. That's only the 4-legged ones for me. Like that, but that bottle baby fosters, they the real MVPs out here. Like, that's a big deal. That's solidified. I was like, yeah, trapping is better for me. I don't need to keep doing bottle baby fosters. That's a lot. That's a lot.
It is a huge undertaking. And that's, it's a lot of the mama cats that come up in the groups or like one of the neighborhood books say, hey, I just found a mama who had babies. What do I do? Help. Thank you for asking, because now you just saved their life, because we can get people in there that have the time to be able to do this. But yeah, it's there's just so much of it. But you had also said, you went back to no matter what you do, if you do something, that when he said, oh, you're the king, I've done way more than you have. That, yes. And so I think what that also does when we say stuff like that is it makes the other person feel like, well, it's just pointless. Why do I bother to do anything? I'm never going to get to your number, and I'm never, but it's not that. It's like, stop saying stuff like that.
And I had to explain to people too, the term trap king, I understand it it may come off as if, okay, he's saying he's the king of trapping, which is, I think everybody, if male or female, if you're doing it, you should take pride in it. So anybody that's doing it is a trap king and a trap queen. But the actual term that the reason why I use it is because in the hip hop community, trap king and trap queen is overly used. So I knew I would catch that demographic's attention. And that's who I wanted to go at Black and brown people. So a lot of times I'd have guys stop me in grocery stores and be like, Trap King, you a rapper? Nope, but let me tell you what it is. Got you. Now you got to listen to this TNR stuff. So I knew I would grab certain people's attention, certain demographics, and I wanted to do that, like make it cool and get folks into it. So that's what Trap King really is. I hope people understand that. I didn't jump out here and be like, I'm the best trapper in the world. I am not. One of the main women that trained me, Mickey Blair, was I mean, Mickey would take off her shoes and hop a tree and one arm grab a cat. Like you like, wow, Mickey. No, it's a lot of amazing women that's been doing it way before me.
And that cat does the roll.
Right.
That's something like, I have Ginsu knives on all four spots. She
I
just
didn't say
grabs
Mickey
it.
just boom. I remember I was given, what was it? I forgot what we had to medicate at the shelter one time. And it was the what's the white stuff? It started with a P. I can't remember the name. Panicure. Is it Panicure?
Yes, the D word. Yeah.
So I think I was trying to give Panicure or something like that, and I'm in there forever trying to get this cat. And Mickey walked in the room and was like, "What are you doing, Sterling?" And I was like, "I'm trying to medicate this cat." She was like, "You need to toughen up." Just leaped up, grabbed it, scruff, bam, done. I was like,
"Okay,
all right, cool. Wow." I was like, "Was you worried about getting scratched?" She was like, "You need to stop worrying about that. You are gonna get scratched." Okay,
you're gonna get
Mickey.
scratched and you're gonna get bitten at some point.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah,
it's gonna happen.
I've got scars all over me, and here's another thing. You'll have people that ask you, "Did a cat do that to you?" And sometimes the dog. I got one from pulling a dog out from under a fence. It's like, yeah, it was just the chain link. We scar easily. It's not a big thing, or it's just this thin skin. It's like, it's okay, it's fine. But you'll get bitten, you'll get scratched. You just don't want to get an infection from it. So it's like, do I have a thing of amoxicillin on hand? Okay, we're good. So that's awesome. What's one of your most interesting trapping stories, or one of your craziest ones?
I've had some crazy ones. I had a few. Boy, one of I will say one of and I've actually come across this a few times, but the possums and raccoons. And even a groundhog. I've actually trapped a groundhog before. Wasn't trying to trap a groundhog, but the possums, now that I have gone out and these possums, they know what I'm doing. They get used to it because I'm just going to let them out. So they like, cool, Trap King here. We just going to go in these traps. We going to eat. He going to let us out, put some more food. We're going to go back in there again and eat. He just going to let us out. Like, so I had to get, because the possums go for the food too. So that's how I figured out how to start using a drop trap and silver vine. So because silver vine is like catnip times 20. It's like catnip on steroids, silver vine. Looks like little dirt. So I would just take the food out, forget the food. I use a drop trap and put some silver vine under there. That way it stops attracting, oh, I got my buddy Griffin, the groundhog on there. So that way it stops, the silver vine is only going to attract cats. So that's one of the craziest things that I had, was just the constant possums reading me and knowing that they're going to eat and get out. So the drop trap and silver vine is a lot of help, because even cats, and I learned this too, because so many stray and feral cats have dental issues. So a lot of them don't want to take such a risk for the food, but surprisingly enough, they smell the silver vine and they under the drop trap like, oh, this is great. So I've been trapping with silver vine because it's too many possums in the area, or raccoons. A raccoon reached out of the trap and grabbed my foot one time. I was like, hey, dude. So,
that's my leg. Please stop.
Yeah, like chill out, man. What you doing?
You'll laugh at this. Years and years ago, and I never used. You are the only one I've told this story to, besides who was there with me. We had a quick meeting in Dallas, and I was up there, and I was at the hotel, and we'd gotten back late in the evening, and it was dark. And you wear glasses, I wear contacts, and I can't see for anything if my glasses aren't on. I'm blind as a bat. Now I went to go back, and they said, yeah, your eyes are worse. Okay, that's fine. So we got back to the hotel, and I thought I saw a mama cat and little kittens by the dumpster. Walk into the dumpster. I thought they were cats. I really did. Oh. And I go and I'm like, well, let's go get some food. So we go to we go get some food. We come back and he goes, those are raccoons. I wouldn't go up to them. I'm like, those are cats. No, they're raccoons. Okay. It turned out they were raccoons. So, and it's like the raccoons will come in there. It's like, hey, let's have the cat food. Just hand it over. Okay. They're aggressive.
Oh yeah,
but they're aggressive.
A few of them that tore my traps up.
Really?
Yeah, because it'll be, you line it with newspaper, or sometimes I use pee pads. Dog pee pads is a great trap liner, and then you got the food in there, and I see that I caught a raccoon and he got newspaper food just all over. He done went crazy in the trap. I'm like, why did you have to do all of that, man? But they could get aggressive. Them raccoons, they don't play around. They cute though. Them and possums, I still love them. They are cute to me.
They are really cute. I think that's funny about the possums though. And then you get the silver line. Like, thank you.
I had to. I was like, I have to figure out how not to even use food because they know what I'm doing. In certain areas, not every area, but in certain areas where you do have a lot of other, possums, raccoons, and cats, don't be afraid to break out that silver vine, but only with a drop trap though. I wouldn't recommend that with the regular have a heart or true catch traps, because I tried that before too, and they wouldn't go in. Like they was right outside the true catch trap, just rolling around. And I'm like, dang, you almost went in and it's just already rolling around. So it's better to do that with a drop trap, not with the standard have a heart or true catch traps. Not those.
So for people who may not know the difference with those, can you share or kind of talk about what a drop or how a drop trap works? Say that fast 5 times. How a drop trap works versus the have a hearts, because I've used those. Funny, I've got one in my loft over here. Used those. We had some possums out there. Actually, last week we had a mama baby that had she had 5. She had 5 little possum babies in my car, which I don't drive really because COVID. I just didn't need to drive it. So it sat in the driveway long enough, and it's baby season, and something hissed at him one night, and Mama was like, you got some more cat food, because I'm hungry. And so she would come up and eat the cat food on the porch. So, but we took 3 of them up to one of the wildlife rescues. They're the wildlife rehabs, and so there's more baby possums up there, so they'll be fine. It's out in the country, and they'll have a much easier life out there than they will down here. So, but so with the drop traps though, how did those work?
So the best way to explain a drop trap is like you think of, and I'm showing my age here, but you think of the Acme Road Runner.
Yeah.
And they got the little
we're on the same page.
It's like a stick holding up a box. It's like a stick holding up a box, and a string tied to that stick. And you pull that stick and the box drops. That's there you go. There's a picture of a tomahawk one right there. And it's basically like that. But what it is, it's a difference from the true catch or the have a heart, which is just a completely enclosed trap, which they still work. They are, it's just different options. And again, sometimes if a cat has, which a lot of cat stray and ferals do have dental issues, they don't necessarily want to take that risk to go into the enclosed deal. That's why even with the true catch traps, I put them in bushes. I'll throw some grass over it or something, just anything, just different methods of trying to get them to go in there. But those drop traps, that's basically, and you could catch more. You could catch a lot of cats at once. I've had like 5, 6 little cats off in there before. And it's like, man, that was quick and good. Like, you feel like you got a bunch of points on the video game or something.
Ding, 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 ding.
Right. 6 points. Oh.
Your health bar is full. Yes.
Right. Got it.
I love that. I never would have thought about it like that. So
That's
I
how
love
you
your
get
perspective on it.
the guys. I'm telling you, you make it into that. Like, you just different ways to engage people, fun ways to do it. It's just another way, because the heartstrings is needed too. Pulling the heartstrings is definitely needed too. Some people don't know that it's sad, but then some people don't know that it can be fun and rewarding. It's like therapy. So
yeah. And some of us, I guess, are way overly too serious about it. It's like, no, you can still have fun. I think that's awesome.
You should. You have to have fun.
He says cat gamification. Cat gamification. That's a good one.
Cat gamification. I love it.
So what's one of your favorite ways to bait the trap?
So
depending on the trap. If you use foods.
Yeah, I use foods. I'll first start with whatever, because when I first go into the community, the first thing you want to do is educate the people. You want to put out some flyers or talk to the community. If I'm going to a area with houses, I'm doing a presentation for the HOA. If I'm going to an apartment complex, I'm doing a presentation for the apartment complex management. After you get to that part, after you pass that, people know what you're doing. Then you want to find the feeders. That's one of the main reasons. So the first bait is usually, I'll try to start with whatever the feeders have been feeding. If whatever they feeding, then I'm gonna bait with that. And then they get smart with that, and I move on to jack mackerel. Jack mackerel is fishy, stinky. Like I said, I don't eat meat, so it's like, but cats and everybody else love it. And then after the jack mackerel, I move on to some KFC chicken. KFC is like, they go crazy for chicken. And the reason I switch a lot of times, because when you have a big colony, like 40, 50 cats or something like that, the cats start to relate the smell to you. So if you stick with one type of smell, they relate it to you. So if you're just using jack mackerel, then they like, all right, every time I smell that fishy stuff, some of our homies come back weird. They go away and they come back weird. So we're not coming out when we smell the fishy stuff. So I was like, yeah, let me switch to chicken now. It is back to wet food. And I keep switching my bait because the cats will get smart, and they know. They like, okay, every time I smell that, dudes come back with their ear missing. So nope. We're not going for that no more.
He stinks. His ear's gone. What happened?
Right. It's just like, when you smell that, don't come out. Don't come out when you smell that. So I switch. Mackerel is my favorite, but I always switch because unless it's a small colony, you can probably pull it off in one night in a small. Like, you could probably do 20 in a night, as long as you've spoken with the feeders. That's one of the key things. Because I've had, I know rescues and rescuers, they can testify to this, that you can't get people to stop feeding. I have so many people that they either feel bad because the cats is meowing and they feed them every day. And I'm like, don't feed for like 24 to 48 hours or they're not going to respond to the bait and my traps. And they'll call me and be like, Sterling, I fed the cats. I couldn't do it. They was at the back door. They was meowing, or I was on my way to work and it's just habit to feed them. And they was like looking at me and I felt bad. So I had to feed them. And I'm like, so that could be a tough part. And at first I used to get mad at people with that, but you can't get mad at somebody for wanting to help the cats. You gotta reward and give a pat on the back for anybody that they want to help, even if they don't know how, or they're not doing a specific thing right at the time, they still want to help and they still care. So I've learned to work around that. Like I said, if they keep feeding and they feeding of the cat food and I tell them not to, and they still do it, I'm like, all right, I'll come with some KFC, some more enticing stuff and see. Curiosity still gets the cat, so I work around it.
There was a cat we were looking for at one time that was what one of the older ladies taught me too, was, okay, when the other stuff doesn't work, and then like when good stinky food doesn't work, go get the KFC chicken. And it worked like a charm.
I mean,
it was cats in the trap. Thank you. Done. Bye.
Right.
Right.
I was like, wow, what are they putting in KFC? Because I don't eat it. So I was like, man, what are they putting in there? Because the cats love it. Man, you would have thought they had churro inside KFC the way the cats go for it.
He says 23 different spices for cats, probably. And hopefully they don't change the recipe for it. So
Right.
yeah. I haven't had it in years. I'm not fully vegan, but I haven't eaten chicken and it'll be 4 years in October, and that's fine. And
Wow.
I haven't eaten red meat or pork since I was way too long ago to start counting years. But yeah, it smells like, and even, he'll get a chicken at the store and our cats go bonkers over it. Can I have some?
Oh, yeah.
Here you go. So it works.
It's so funny when I go get the KFC and my friends and see me and thought you was vegan, what you was doing at KFC. And I'm like, man, I wasn't getting it for me. And they like, yeah, right, whatever. You ain't no vegan. I'm like, I promise I wasn't there for me. They like, okay, sure.
Do you see the traps in the back of the vehicle
right,
here?
Right.
Like, I've got a reason for this right now. Like, come on. Can I ask, for everybody who's listening, when you trap them and you take them in, and I imagine you have people to help you to take them in to get the actual TNRs done or the neutering done, do they often get released back out where they came from, or do they go somewhere else, or does it depend on where you're at?
Oh no, the point, one of the biggest things in the most important letters in TNR is the R, and that's the return. So I'm definitely returning them back to their colony. Mm-hmm. I don't exterminate, and mm-hmm. So they're coming back to their colony. The only time they won't go to if it's dangerous, if they're mm-hmm. if it's a high traffic area, something like vehicles and stuff,
yeah.
or they're in danger of people that don't want them around. In that case, that's when I look to work with barns, mm-hmm. and barns, because a lot of barns need Mausers to help with the rodents and everything like that, and cats do that. So I was for a while, for situations like that, I had a LinkedIn page, mm-hmm. and I would put the cats up there, like looking for jobs. So it'll be like, yo, I'm a cat. I used to work at a warehouse. They slow on work now because all the mice gone. Can you hire me as a Mauser? So I come to your barn, I can hook you up. So, and it sometimes worked a few times. So don't be afraid to use LinkedIn, y'all. You get these cats jobs as Mausers. But that's only in cases where, they can't go back to where they originally came from, which usually you definitely want to take them back. Even with, the barns, you got to have a proper acclimation unit. And that's still like last resort. You don't want to rush to that. You really want to try to keep them in their area, because people do that all. I had people that think they could just take the cat 5 blocks up, drop it off. They do that, and the cat is on their porch the next day, like, what's good? I'm here. Like, I don't know what you thought you were doing. Right. They sniff their way right back. So, and it's dangerous going back. A lot of times they cross the streets and doing stuff. So first and foremost, you want to return the cats back to their colony. In situations where you can't, then with proper acclimation units, that's when you look into relocating to a barn in situations like that. But I try to stay away from that. I do have some barn people that have helped me out though, and it's been good. They were able to properly be relocated, but that's something I try to stay away from. The most important thing is you want to return them back to their colony.
Thank you. That's what we were taught too. So have you had any, or have you ever had any cases that were really, that they were really sick? And it's like you said, a lot of them have dental issues and tooth problems, but have you had some that were just really bad medical cases that you guys were able to take them in and try to get them helped?
Yeah, we had, some we couldn't help, and I'm a crier. So like I said, the woman that trained me, we had some situations where they were just health-wise, it was bad. And like I said, the woman trained me, Mickey, was like, Sterling, you got to toughen up, because I'm literally in the back just I'm hysterically crying. She's like, Sterling, you got to calm down. But we have had some that have had health issues. When I had Rick James, I caught a cat She was actually an all white cat, like my baby here, Alanis. And I trapped her, and I was gonna take her back out, but the vet told me, she was like, Sterling, this cat was declawed. So I don't know how she was out surviving without claws. So I was like, dang, I can't take her back out. That's crazy. So I ended up adopting her, naming her Tina Marie. She came to stay with me and Rick James. So I don't know if y'all know Rick James and Tina Marie fire.
Yes.
But yeah, I loved Take It. She was like 16. So she was only with us for a while, but I know, the rest of her life, she enjoyed it. It was good. So I really like that story. And then sometimes there's been cases where the colony feeders, we've had, health issues, and the colony feeders is taking cats in to help them and get them back better. One of the things too is the have a heart trap, they slam down.
Yes.
So when that and the cat run to the other end, I had a cat that scratched his nose up really bad when he, that trap slammed, he got scared, hit his nose, and we was able to get his nose healed up, and he was adopted out, and he ended up getting adopted out because of his little scar. Like the people that adopted him was like, his little scar is just so cute on his nose. And I was like, I don't know if it's cute, but great. Thanks. Like,
was he the one in the picture on your page, on your Facebook? I know you've got a bunch of them, but
yeah, I don't know. He may have been because he had a little scar on his nose. I think I named him Hendrix, but of course his name got changed once he got adopted. But
yeah,
I'm always putting music names on my cats.
I think
Alanis
really
Millicent, Demita Joe is Janet Jackson's middle name.
Mm-hmm.
I got a Bowie. My birthday the same day as Bowie, so I had a Bowie.
Mm-hmm. Have you oh goodness, I had something I wanted to ask you and I got so excited I forgot.
I be running my mouth too much.
No, this is wonderful. I thank you. There was you had asked this earlier and I wanted to ask you, what's your position or opinion on spay abort?
Oh yeah, I
know you run into that.
It's always a tough question. And I'll say this, for me, I recommend it. I think it's necessary, but again, you got to go by case basis. Like earlier when we was talking about it, I think it was Sandy saying that there was a situation where she was too far along, Yes. But I've trapped cats that was 4 months old and pregnant. Yep. And the vet told me, Sterling, she wouldn't have made it through delivery. She wouldn't have made it carrying these kittens. She wouldn't have made it. She would have died. Like, it's better. So I understand why people would be against spay abort. It's tough. It's almost like a necessary ugly, but the number one thing I would say is trust your vet. I'm not a vet. I don't go against the vet. I go with what the vet says. If the vet says it's a spay abort, we go with spay abort. Vet says it's too far along, it's too far along. I don't pretend to be something. I'm good at what I do, and I let the vets be good, the vets and the vet techs. Shout out to the vets and the vet techs, but I let them do what they do. I let them do their job. So I would say that regardless of any stance on it, I would say listen to your vet. But me personally, yeah, I do. I go for spay abort. I brought that. I asked that earlier because it's such a tough question and it's controversial. I have friends that don't believe in it at all, and I respect them the same way. I respect it the same way. It's still the same team. It's still somebody that it cares. We all care. So I'm not against the people that don't believe in it, but for me personally, I'm gonna respect my vet.
That's a topic that's come up a lot in recent months, and it seemed like it was coming ahead of kitten season again this year. And there's a lot of people kind of that are in the part of the fence where we are, where it's like you take it on a case by case basis, and sometimes they're so young or they have so many health issues to start with that there's no chance those babies are going to survive, and so it's almost a mercy. And
two, I'm sorry to cut you off, but is if you have the resources, by all means, go for it. If you have the money, the space, the resources to take the mama and the kittens in, and you can get them adopted or you can keep them yourself, if you can do that, by all means, go for it. I mean, that's your deal. But because there's so many cats that's in shelters that's looking for homes. When we producing more and doing that, we taking chances for somebody else to have a forever home. So I do recommend it, but I'm not against anybody that feels differently. Like I said, if you got the resources, go for it. I live in an RV. I can't do it.
You don't need 10 kittens running around?
No, I can't do that.
No rows of little bottles and syringes? No, come on.
My girls would be like, what are you doing?
We've discussed this. We said no. Nuh-uh.
Yeah, are we sharing all our food with them? Like
there's a shortage out there right now. You know that, right?
Yeah. Hey, like how much Ruva you think you got? We're not doing this.
I had a huge stack of Ruva in the pantry, and one of the cats was like, "No, I don't want that." The other cat's, "That's mine." Okay.
Oh yeah, my girl's hooked on Ruva.
That was my original crew, and the new ones, half of them we don't really like. Okay, fine. Okay, we'll get there. It's okay. It's it's why I don't get so far into the food wars, because I could, but I know that there are certain things that some cats just won't eat. It doesn't matter how expensive it is or how cheap it is or where they just you can try, and they're gonna do what they want to do. So we just keep trying. Yeah. I have a question. Are you coming back to Popcats later this year in Austin?
I haven't spoken with them yet, but I definitely wouldn't mind. I love Austin. It was fun when I went out there. I did a couple cat raps when I was out there. So I would love to. I haven't talked. I think they are in Chicago now.
I think so.
Just in Chicago, but I'm hoping. And then I guess it depends on when too, because I have a huge trip coming up.
Oh yeah.
I'm actually on my way to Greece for a crazy rescue road trip. So in Greece, they have a ton of cats out there. They love the cats, but they don't have the resources. They having problems with trapping them. So I've been sending gradually food, traps. We got vet techs volunteering. I'm going out there the 9th of May, and I'll be out there for 2 weeks, and I'll be trapping, rapping, doing performances, fundraising, and speaking with government officials to bolster their TNR. And I'm hoping because a lot of people ask me, like, why are you going to Greece if there's so much help needed in America? And I get that, but I help cats everywhere. I help animals everywhere. But not only that, I really hope that this serves as rehearsal in a sense, or practice in a sense, to speaking with government officials out there to be able to do that more out here. That's a part of it that I haven't got to yet. And I want to get more into that, speaking with government officials. So I want to get into that. I'm hoping that it's kind of practice out there in Greece, and I can come here and, know what I'm talking about a little bit more. I might have to put on real clothes, which will suck, but
maybe not. I like the shirts. I think they're awesome.
Thank you.
I do. I think they're awesome. Before we wrap up, we had a suggestion of possibly doing 3D printed crowns. So that might be something that could help. And the other, what is the best way to help support you? Donate on the website, obviously help share and help get the message out. So when you go to Greece and you do this thing, that's something that I'd love to help share. So on our end, so it's gets that out there. But how can people help support you?
To help support me, support TNR. Support your local group and rescue. I love the support for me. You can go to the website, trapkinghumane.org, and you can support me. But I would say just support TNR as a whole. Your local rescue, find them, help them, and then compliment. If you see somebody doing it, if you can't help, kind words to each other, to other people in this, that's helping me. And like I said, if you want to donate, that's great, especially now because this Greece trip is expensive. but by helping TNR, your local TNR group, whatever, is helping me. I mean, just supporting the mission as a whole is what it is. Like I said, we want to get rid of the stereotype of crazy this or crazy that. Like that lady up the street that got all the cats around there and she doing it, do not call her crazy. I heard some kids call a lady a witch one time. Like, what are you talking about? Like, don't call her names. Don't do that. Help her if you can. And if you can't, just compliment her. Just let, hey, thank you for helping clean our community up. You know, thank you for helping that. If you just something like that, you'd be surprised how far that go rather than sitting up the street pointing at her and talking about her bad. Like, go help her. And if you can't, like I said, just go say something nice because she's not crazy and she's not a witch.
She's a good person.
She's a strong, compassionate trap queen. You should salute her.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's only the dopest cup ever.
That was a gift, so I had to say thank you. But yes, exactly. So this has been so much fun, and I'm so happy and just happy and grateful and appreciative that you were able to come on and talk to us today. And I know we've gone over time, but thank you because I could do this for an hour.
Listen, I will. If y'all don't cut me off, I will sit here and run my mouth about cats forever.
Well, we're gonna have to do this again then. So
definitely.
When we wrap up the summit, when we do some episodes on the podcast, we'll have to do that and talk about more of the stories and everything with and just all of that stuff. So that would be so much fun. I can do the same thing. I'll get cut off like, okay, we're done.
I forgot. I wanted to say a couple. I need to say this because I never say this. Helping me too would be if y'all, anybody doing TNR or learn about it. I have a documentary on Netflix. It's called Cat People. It's the 4th episode. I took Netflix folks out to trap with me in the hot Atlanta sun all day. I made them mad. It was like, we got enough footage. I was like, nah, I'm getting more cats. Y'all stay, keep filming. So go check out Cat People on Netflix. It's the 4th episode. And they just followed me around. And I got to shout out Tabby Dates. My friend Nathan the Cat Lady and I, if y'all heard of Nathan the Cat Lady, he's a cat enthusiast. That's a good friend of mine. We started a dating app for cat lovers called Tabby Dates. And it's not to link cats up with other cats. It's not a breeding service. It's to hook cat people up with cat people. Because for me, that was very difficult. But, I go out on a date with a young lady and she like, okay, first the nails and now the cats, I'm over it. I can't do it with you. So it's like and so many of my ladies would be like, we'll be out trapping and they'll be like, well, I've been dating this guy a couple of weeks and now he about to come to my house and see all my cats and leave me alone. So it's over now. So we created Tabby Dates for that. And I promote Tabby Dates because another thing that it does helps me with fosters too. So
yes,
check out Tabby Dates. We was on Shark Tank and actually won a deal with Mr. Wonderful. So check out Tabby Dates and check out Cat People on Netflix episode for Nothing But TNR.
I have that written down in my notepad over here. We will do that.
Thank you.
We will definitely.
I always forget. I never bring that stuff up. So
I know. I'm like, we should have done that 20 minutes ago too, so nobody forgets. So, but it's in there.
Mary was about to fuss at me. Mary was about to fuss at me when we got off if I didn't say nothing about it.
Thank you, Mary. Well, cool. Well, we will definitely do this again. And I seriously, I will cut myself off because I could talk a lot. But thank you. We send you big hugs. We send her head bonks, purrs, and kisses. Oh my goodness.
Head butts and slow blinks.
Head bonks and slow blinks. I love that. Yeah. Well, you have a great rest of your night. Try to get some sleep. And have a great day tomorrow speaking too. So thank you very, very, very much. Very, very, very much.
Peace out, y'all.